Welcome to the On Point Podcast, a channel dedicated to helping you be the best hunter you can be. On Point is designed to help motivate and inspire you to get more out of yourself and your gear during your next hunt. If you're looking for information that will directly impact your success and help inspire you to go on new adventures, whether you're hunting with a bow or a rifle, On Point is the channel for you. Hey everyone, hopefully you're all doing well. Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast where I get to sit down with my brother, Gavin, who has gone over the draw process in depth and really has a good idea of maybe how you did not draw a tag with a 100% chance of drawing a tag. And if the folks that live in Oregon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't live in Oregon, you may be wondering, how does that make sense? How's that even possible? Well, in Oregon, anything's possible. I'll tell you that right now. But so basically, this is just a how does the draw process work for Oregon's preference point system. And we go over a few of the species and what the opportunity is there. And that's really the episode. Now, with the draw not coming out on time and coming out late, I figured this would be a great time to unleash this episode of the podcast, which we recorded last week. So I'm going to upload this, and hopefully you guys get the draw results here within the next couple days for those that put in for Oregon. And I wish you guys all the best of luck. All right, enjoy.
Can you hear me pretty good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get this thing rolling. We are officially live.
Cool.
And so I asked you to come onto the show because we had a conversation the other night, and we've been waiting literally all day yesterday for the tag results to come out in Oregon. They're still not out yet. I'm thinking tomorrow. Hopefully, but why don't you go ahead and give us an introduction? Well, not us, but everybody that's listening to the podcast, because I kind of know a little bit about you.
A little bit.
Yeah, but so go ahead and let's hear who we have on the podcast today.
So I am Gavin Weaver. I am Garrett Weaver's brother, older brother, and live in Roseburg. Look forward to the draw. Look forward to finding out what tags we're going to get hopefully tomorrow, June 14th, if the state of Oregon's nice to us.
Yeah.
At least by the 20th.
Right. So you and I were talking the other night, and this was what brought this whole podcast together, is because, like, oh, I can't wait to find out what tags I got screwed on. Yeah.
The disappointment, yeah.
Pretty much you're like, oh, I can tell you how.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You can virtually predict almost what you're going to get, minus some of, like, the high-end or premium tags.
Okay. So for folks that are out of state, because there's a lot of folks that listen to this podcast that aren't in Oregon, okay. Let's go over how the draw system in Oregon works and what tags are available for guys that are local and for guys that are out of state.
Okay. So not every hunt has out-of-state non-resident access. So with the tag guidebook, for example, the 2018 Oregon Tag Guide, it'll show in there what hunts have non-residents. But for a resident guy like myself, it starts with purchasing your hunting license and then an $8 application fee.
Per animal.
Per animal. Yeah, so it can get expensive real quick, especially if it's, for example, me and the wife, and then the kids are going to start hunting down the road. It's $8 per animal per person. Right. So I was fortunate to draw a bighorn sheep tag in 2015, so now I get to save $8 a year and don't have to for the rest of my life, and don't have to pay for that, but still paying for that for her.
So, and when you say that it costs $8, that's after you buy your hunting license, yeah? Yeah,
so it's $8 to find out if you drew to have the ability to hunt that animal in the unit that you applied for. It's a non-refundable $8, so win or lose, you still are out your $8, so there's no refund there. You can put in up to 5 choices per hunt or per animal. First choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice, fifth choice in case hunts are canceled, or there's enough tags left over, they'll go to 5 choices. If you don't draw one, then you're given a preference point, which is 1 point more than you would have had the year prior, which you can use in the next year's draw. Some of these hunts, like the one we'll talk about today, to guarantee it, 22 points. So that's 22 years of going without a tag.
Right.
Or drawing a second choice.
Right, and so Oregon's a little bit different because in each state's a little bit different. But if you're waiting for 22 years in Wyoming for an antelope tag, which I don't even think that's even possible.
I doubt it.
Oregon really sucks when it comes to antelope. I'll just throw that out there. The tags that are available aren't very good for the ones that you're waiting for. I know the Heart Mountain tag was kind of, in my opinion, a letdown when Jeff drew his tag. He killed a really cool antelope, but still not worth 21 years worth of waiting.
Yeah, I think he had 20. He had 21, I believe, 21 points.
Yeah,
maybe 22 when he drew it. But to shoot a 72 to a 74-inch pronghorn after a 22-year wait, probably not worth it.
Well, I know the one that I have up here behind me is at 13 1/4 inch. I don't even care about the score, but he's 13 1/4 inch antelope. I'm talking about the length of the prongs. And I waited 12 or 13 years.
Yeah, I'm 11 years in, no antelope. I was tempted this year to burn my points on a muzzleloader antelope hunt, but just to get it done, because I think I'm going to start hunting out of state for at least antelope. But the Heart Mountain hunt was awesome. It's a good experience. It's obviously on Heart Mountain Antelope Refuge, so you see a ton of critters.
Mm-hmm.
There are some big bucks out there, but to wade through $300 or $400 in a day to finally find one quality animal is not what a good representation of 20, 21, 22-year wait.
Right. And getting into this tag thing, guys, I don't want people to think that we're going to give out, your unit that you've been putting in for. We're going to screw your odds and stuff. That's not the point of this podcast.
Right.
The point of it is to learn how the draw works. Why are you pissed off that you didn't draw your tag? Why, I don't understand. And I hear that all the time. Me personally, I don't understand. I'm going to be learning from you in this podcast. But I don't want people to think that, go ahead and put in for this unit for elk because this and that. That's not my goal of this episode. So let's get into species specific.
Okay.
So there's a difference between antelope and bighorn.
Yep.
What are those differences?
So pronghorn antelope is an application that you can earn a preference point every year that you don't draw.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, Jeff had 21 or 22 points when he drew his. Bighorn sheep, kind of like the lottery that you can play.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is on the same playing field. There's 1 or 2 tags, maybe 3 tags per unit, and there might be 1,500 to 2,000, 3,000 applicants for those 2 tags.
Right.
Once you draw that tag, it's a once in a lifetime consideration, so you can't even apply for it again.
Have you tried?
Yeah, so
you would be shot if you drew that twice.
I thought about trying it again, honestly,
just to see what the system says.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to test it at one of the point of sales and just.
I bet they'd take your money.
I didn't want to make eye contact with them or anything like that, and just or send Becca in to go apply for me.
Right.
She did my last application for me, and it worked out well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, bighorn sheep, once in a lifetime. Pronghorn antelope, to get a good rifle tag, maybe 13 years is probably what you're going to wait. I'm a muzzleloader guy, so 10 to 11 points gives me the ability to draw just about any muzzleloader tag in the state, but that still doesn't mean there's any good tags to draw. I mean, they're fair, but.
Right.
So for not to make anyone apply for any specific hunt, but Heart Mountain, I have some numbers in front of me. We can talk about that. So
let's talk about that because everybody already knows that's in my opinion, it used to be a prestigious. Oh my God, I'm going to Heart Mountain, but being there myself and actually seeing what's there, and then hearing about the cougars and the predation of the coyotes, because you cannot predator hunt on that whole refuge. There's no predator control, and you're seeing the effects on it. I know our dad used to go over there and mule deer hunt, and just has all these stories and pictures of these 200-inch mule deer. I'm sure you could still go over there and find them, but not like he was.
It's tough. On my sheep hunt in 15, I hiked everywhere over that mountain looking for sheep, and I would see a dink 3-point or 4-point that I probably wouldn't even shoot in the unit that I hope to draw this year.
Really?
I passed up bigger bucks last year in this unit.
With an easy tag to get.
Yeah. No points sometimes. And so I did see one bow hunter kill a really nice buck in there, but he spike camped for 3 days.
Really?
Watched the deer, bedded him down. But by nice buck, I mean 23 inches. Not Yeah, not a 30 plus
or
anything like that or any extra junk. It was just a nice slick.
And that's probably a 12-point tag, 12-year weight.
Yeah, it takes close to probably double digits to draw that tag.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Shooting from the hip here. But so let's get into the Antelope Tag.
Okay. So Heart Mountain, again, we're not trying to steal anyone's thunder or what tags to put in for, so we're going to put in for one that everyone knows about. Heart Mountain, again, 100 Heart in 15 and 100 Heart in 2017. Heart Mountain has 41 tags that they have for their antelope rifle hunters.
Okay.
75% of those tags go to the highest individual, the highest point individuals. So 31 of those or so would have been given to the points. So 2 people last year had 24 points. They both drew. 2 people had 23 points. They both drew. 6 people had 22 points. They drew. It gets interesting here, and this is kind of where some complexity comes into it, where there was 59 individuals that had 21 points.
Oh, Jesus.
So 59 people for 21 points, and if you take out the other tags, there's only 21 left over tags to draw. 21 of them drew, which means that now, going into the next year, this year, 38 people have 22 points, when only 6 people had 22 points here before.
So is that going to push the tag creep up? Or we call that point creep.
Yeah, so it's going to be point creep. So what happens is those 38 people, if they decide to apply for Heart Mountain again,
chances are pretty good.
Well, they're going to they're going to draw because there's no one ahead of them. But there's only 31 tags to draw, and there's 38 people with 22 points.
So 7 of them are going to be
six, 7 of them. Yeah, 7 of them are going to be left out.
Yeah, even though they have the points.
And then everyone who had 20 points now has 21, which is 52 people last year, will not get any of these tags.
Would they be part of? So let's put it this way, just to simplify it. If I have 10 tags for we're just break it down to 10.
Sure.
How many of those tags go to the guys with the most points?
75%. So that's hard. So it'd be 7 to 8 tags, depending on how the state wanted to round it. So maybe 8 out of 10 probably.
Really
would go to the guys with the points. The other ones go to all of the first choice applicants in a 25% pool. So how many ever 1,000 of people? So for first choice applicants, you're looking at, I'm trying to see if I have those numbers. I don't have it. I bet you it's in the thousands.
Okay.
So for Heart Mountain.
So if you have those guys, the 38 guys that have 20s, how many points?
So they're going to have this year, I guess, going into this draft, they all applied, they'd have 22 points each, but there'd only be 31 tags to give.
Okay, so we go to those guys. A few of them are going to get what they call screwed. They're not going to get the tag. And then the guys just below them with one less point are going to be tossed in that 10% pool?
25% pool.
Excuse me, 25% pool
so
with a guy that has 0 points.
The way that they are going to draw these people that got moved up, the way that they're going to draw is the public is invited to go draw numbers to start a hunt series.
Okay.
So, for example, let me look up what it is for antelope. So the number this year,
okay,
7,152,648,667 is the starting number.
I'm pretty sure that's my number.
If I'm within 1 or 2 of it, I'll be pretty excited.
Not if you're below it.
No, well, and it only matters in the point area where not everyone's going to get a tag.
Okay.
So if you're above, you're one of those. If you had 24 points, you don't care what the number is because you have the most points, you're going to get the tag.
Well, not if there's more applicants with 24 points.
Correct.
Now.
Yeah. So in this example where you have 38 people and there's going to be 31 tags, 7 guys are going to get left out.
Right.
They're going to start from that number that I just spoke to, and they're going to go starting there, moving upward in order. Those are the guys that are going to get the tags. All guys may above that number, but there might be 7 that are below. You're left out. And so now you're in the 25% pool.
So let's just simplify this again because I'm suck at math and numbers and everything. So let's just pretend my number is 5.
Okay.
And they chose the number 6.
Yeah, you're probably not going to get a tag.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
So it's going to go 6 guys with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops back down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then
you would not have gotten a tag.
I would have not gotten a tag.
Because they draw this number out into the billions.
Right.
So there's so many possibilities and so many numbers that guys can have in between those numbers that it may not make its way all the way back around even to reset, right? So all those guys above are going to get drawn. And then you're going to go into the 25% pool where your points don't mean anything and don't matter. So thanks for the 22 years of contributions of $8 each. Now you're in a general lottery with the public, which makes it a true lottery draw system, though, because if it was constantly all the guys with the most points,
you get bottlenecks.
Yeah,
we are getting bottlenecks.
Yeah, it's kind of a lose-lose, but I mean, you know what you're going to get. You just put it. It rewards the guy every once in a while. For example, a guy with 1 point last year drew Heart Mountain Antelope on the 25% pool. Now, if he advertised that to a lot of people, he'd probably not have very many friends. Like, because those guys are waiting 21 years and didn't get the tag. Some guy with 1 preference point who's never hunted antelope in his life is out chasing pronghorn on a Heart Mountain refuge.
Right. There's one guy last year or 2 years ago. It flew around Facebook quicker than it flew around Facebook. It was a guy who drew I think a premium.
I think I saw the post on it was a screenshot of his tag.
Yeah, it was a bighorn tag.
Yeah.
One of the big 3 elk tags.
Yeah.
A goat tag.
Yeah.
And I think that was his second time drawing the big bull tag in 6 years.
Yeah, I think I saw something on it. It's just like some guys get it. Like there's a family here locally that I think's had 4 sheep tags.
Yeah, 3 or 4, and just in one family.
One family.
And so I was really excited when you got yours.
I was like, yes, our last name is now in the database.
Yeah, maybe we exist.
Maybe we'll start pulling some tags. But it's kind of interesting. Like, I'm beyond thankful to have drawn my sheep tag and have had the experience and hunted heart. But it's like, now knowing what I know about heart, it's like, well, dang, I wish I kind of would have drawn a different sheep tag. I mean, I still love my experience. It was crazy, but like the quality of animals on heart is so deteriorated that it's not what it used to be.
Well, if you go back and you look at, this percentage book, which is something that you have to buy, it's not the regular regulations book. You can see that the average, is 140 to 155, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
The average is really not that good quality. It's low it's mid 140s.
Average score's a 146.
Yeah.
Mine green scored 150. So I think he net scored like 149 and 8th or something. And there are there's a sheep up there or two probably that are 160. Like 1 maybe. Maybe 2. And I know one of them got shot last year. It was a giant. And but other than that, there's not a ton of them. Those sheep hang out in big packs, and the big rams are by themselves, and they just get picked off by cougars, and you can't shoot a cougar and you can't shoot a coyote.
Right. So let's go over some other different species here. So and hopefully we covered the majority of the guys who have the points get 75% of the tags, the guys with the most points.
Yeah.
So there also is a theory, I want to cover this real quick, where if you have 0 points, you have a better chance than the guys who have that middle ground there. Is that a fallacy?
I've heard it. So, I mean, if you have 0 points, right, swing for the fence. And if you don't get it, well, then fantastic, you have 1 point.
Right.
Some of those guys that get in that middle ground, I think, get conservative or point save or don't do something that maybe they should or don't want to hunt this year because whatever reason. I've heard the 0-1 thing. I don't know if there's much to support it. There might be. I haven't dove too much into that, but
it wouldn't make sense why there would be.
No, but I've heard that more people say that that's true. Like you'll draw a better tag on 0 points than you will on 1 point when it's a long shot.
Right. I've heard that, but I don't know if it's ever been proven.
I don't know. Yeah, and a lot of the data that I can read and find and everything that I look at for like point creep and point detail summaries and stuff on the ODFW page is always first choice applicants and part of the 75%. It's hard to get that 25% point information because the points are not accounted for. Right. So I couldn't tell maybe if a guy had 8 points and a guy had 1 point. It only will give me the point detail report when it's a first choice application.
Right. And it doesn't really make sense to me why you would bump a guy with 0 points because that literally means he just started putting in or he just drew a tag.
Right. Yeah. He's a brand new hunter. Maybe that's it.
Right.
It was interesting when I went to that sheep hunt orientation in the Dalles. it seemed like, okay, if you're a first-time hunter, women hunter, da-da-da-da-da, stand up, and like 75% of the room stood up.
Really?
And it was probably first and second year applicants.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying I put in forever. It was like 11 years. I know people that have put in for 40 or 50, but
A lot.
like 75% of the room stood up, and they were first and second year
Right.
applicants, like 12, 13, 14-year-old kids and women. I'm happy to see any and all of them draw.
Right.
Even though the young boy on Hart, when I had it, didn't fill his tag, missed a couple. But now it's like, okay, well, that kid's 12 years old, and if he lives to be 80, he can never hunt sheep again in Oregon, and maybe not take the best advantage of the hunt or maximize his opportunity. But it was really interesting to see how many first choice applicants or first time applying people had drawn tags. And it was just
Right.
like, you would think. It's interesting because there's no points, so the odds are never stacked in your favor. A guy who's applied 40 times has no better chance than I do. I don't know how they choose. I mean, I know that they have that billion number, and then if you're the one closest right above it, you get the tag. But
Right.
it just so happens to be kids.
Have you seen the proposed measures that they're thinking about doing for next year for leftover tags?
I have, where they are going to look at if you were a successful draw of a tag that you're not able to purchase
Right.
a leftover tag. So I support it, right? Like the reason I do. And so the reason I support it is I think everyone deserves an opportunity, for the most part, to have a controlled hunt experience.
Mm-hmm.
Is it right for me to have 2 mule deer tags and John Smith down the road have to hunt Western Oregon general deer because I beat him to the store on? I don't think so. I think, again, I'm not about the harvest. I don't care to kill. I just love to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with it, and because I want everyone to have a great opportunity. And if it's a leftover tag, there's a reason it's a leftover tag.
That's where I was going to go with that. I'll just say, the Tioga tags, they always have leftover tags. Probably going to get shot for that. But
I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't take a Tioga rifle tag, 1 or 2, if they gave it to me. Like,
some guys they fill it every year.
Yeah.
They do the work, but it's not even really fun.
No,
there's just too many headlights, too many taillights.
A couple thousand people out there with rifles, and it looks like a freeway.
It does, yeah. So let's go over the opportunity for deer.
Sure.
Okay, so if a guy wanted to hunt deer, I see a lot of confusion and misinformation out there. I kind of want to clear this up. I'm pretty knowledgeable on this, but I have you here to explain it.
Okay.
So for guys that are wanting to take the full maximum amount of tags that they can get in 1 year,
sure.
What would they do? How would they do that?
So you're provided the opportunity to hunt 2 deer tags a year.
With the premium.
Well, with the premium too, I guess, if you drew a premium.
Yeah, so the spiked doe, buck,
Spiked doe, buck, yeah, premium. I'm not thinking premium because I'll probably never draw one. I mean, Jeff drew one the same year he drew Hart Mountain.
He did.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can hunt a premium. So a premium is a 1 deer, 1 unit, any weapon, like 3-month season.
Okay.
And so no points. It's kind of like a lottery system. It's not considered a once-in-a-lifetime tag because you could draw it again. Just the chances are very slim.
The premiums?
Yeah, on the premiums.
Yeah, and those are newer. Those have only been around for
a couple
2
years. Yeah, a couple
3
years, 2-3 years maybe.
Yeah.
This might be the 3rd year.
I'm a big fan of those.
I love it. And I know the state loves it because you're going to have 800 people apply for 1 tag, 800 times 8, plus the guy that actually gets the tag has to pay for the additional tag, and it's only 1 deer. Like, that deer is worth so much to the state to get shot.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So
I would honestly be in some of the areas that got hit really bad, over towards, we'll just call it the Burns area, that whole area over there.
North, south of 20 and all over there.
Yeah, that area got pounded by winter.
Yep.
I mean, there was winter kill, talking to locals over there. Me and my buddy went over there for a vacation.
I hunted over in that area last year, and it was awful.
Yeah. You talk to locals, they're like, yeah, there's like deer, hundreds of deer driving all up the highways. You would see them just dead. Like, they could not feed or water because everything was frozen and it was just bad.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a fan of, which they did. They cut the tags back.
Yeah, big time.
Cut them back really hard, or even cut that tag for a few years. I mean, I know that's a lot of revenue lost. That's opportunity lost for hunters. But honestly, man, that herd really got pounded. We would usually see 300 to 400 deer scouting there in the spring. We saw one doe.
Yeah, it was bad last year. We hunted. Jeff had hunted the year before, and I think they saw 20-plus bucks, 3 and 4 points all over the place. And my wife and I hunted it last year with Jeff also. We filled 3 out of 4 tags, which was great, and I passed up a few bucks that I could have shot. I just chose not to, trying to get my wife her first mule deer. But the numbers aren't there, but the state would never get rid of that premium hunt now for that unit, even if the numbers are down. I think they would just reduce the general, like the tags that they give to us in the general lottery.
Right.
Because, again, that one deer specifically for that unit, you're...
Well, if you got to make your money, I understand it's a money game, and I have a lot of, ideas when it comes to the ODF and W and the way they manage their game. That's not what this conversation's about, because you could get really down into a rabbit hole. And
yeah, no, we're not here to do that.
But I will say that if you have to cut down the tags or even get rid of the tags, you could sell 10 premium tags raise probably close to the same amount of money as you would by cutting those tags back. So
you could have 5 premium tags, and that will cover the cost of 500
of
regular
cutting
tags.
back those tags. That's what I'm saying. And some people just don't like it. They don't like it. But, I understand you have to raise the money. I'm a big fan of them. There's only 1 tag per unit.
I love it.
And it's a huge moneymaker, and that money's going to go back into the management of the herds. We're not going to get into that. But, I see room to really utilize that premium draw tag when we have areas that have really been pounded by either hunters, predators, or weather. And I don't know. That's just my theory there. But
well, it's interesting. I don't know if the public's got a big buy-in on the premium hunts or not, because 2016, I think, is the first year they came out. And the number of applicants is so much higher than it was in 17. Like the numbers fell off.
Really?
For example, Beulah deer, right? Not saying anyone's hotspot, but in 2016, 1,007 people paid $8 to try to hunt one deer in Beulah, but in 2017, only 523 people put in for that same hunt.
Maybe they switched.
Yeah, so every single hunt, virtually every single hunt, I'm trying to find one that isn't, has a reduction.
Go to the Tioga elk one. That one seems to be a pretty popular one. Which,
let's look at Tioga. I put in for Tioga elk.
You did?
Yeah, so I would not take Tioga 1 or 2, but I would take Tioga premium in a freaking heartbeat.
Yeah, because you can hunt from...
I already know where I'd be standing opening morning.
Yeah, pretty much from the time the bow hunters can with a rifle, if you wanted to...
2016, 848 first, so not even first time, just applicants. 2017, 628.
Wow, I thought it went up.
So almost every hunt saw a reduction. There's very few, maybe less than 5 or 10% of the hunts that actually saw an increase from 16 to 17. So I don't know if that's people... I mean, we can go down this list of every single hunt that's in here, but it's like...
They all had a reduction.
Antelope. Beulah, 365 to 260. Columbia Basin, 108 to 95. East Beatty's, 862 to 761. So every single one of them
went down.
Huh. So I don't know if that's people's... I'm going to keep applying for it, and I hope people stop applying.
I went on that premium hunt tag with Jeff, and just being in just having a tag in your pocket during the rut for mule deer, that alone was getting my adrenaline pumping. It didn't matter that the tag sucked.
West Beatty's Butte pronghorn's the only one that I can find right now, real quick, that had an increase from 16 to 17.
Really?
For pronghorn, yeah.
Oh, so I want to go back to the opportunity for deer.
Okay, yeah.
So, we have the spike doe tag.
So you got spike doe tag. That's a 600 series.
Okay.
For example, every year I apply for the same 2. So I apply for Central Melrose, and I apply for Melrose. I apply for Melrose first choice. It's a little tougher to get, but if not, I usually get Central Melrose. I don't mind disclosing the Central Melrose one because good luck, there's like 3% public land and not very many people know where. Not everyone knows where it's at.
You gotta pretty much know somebody.
Yeah. So I don't mind disclosing that one. And then Melrose is just a broad unit, and no one's gonna see me out there anyway. But so yeah, you can hunt those, and then you can put in for a 100 series hunt, which is a buck hunt. For example, I put in for one. Not gonna say the unit, but I do apply for one every year. I got about a 20% chance of drawing this year. And then you can hunt the premium hunt if you were lucky enough to draw. So I apply for a 600 series doe hunt every year, and I usually get a tag every year, and I usually eat that tag every year. I have a hard time shooting spikes because that's just your younger generation of bucks. So I try to let those guys walk. And then I have a hard time shooting does because that's your.
Why even buying the tag?
Well, I almost do it so someone else can't have it. I mean, that sounds terrible, but
you're gonna get some hate now.
but my wife has filled her spike tag. I have shot a few. I've shot a doe or two. If I am going to shoot a doe, though, I'm super selective. I take my time. It's never a rush shot. I try to do a quick study of the herd and who belongs to who, and that little one goes to her, and that one's to her, and this one's 4.5 years old, and she's by herself, and she's done. I'll take that one. So I'll fill it, but I don't. It's more of an excuse to have a tag in the pocket, especially that Central Melrose tag. They give out way too many tags for 2% public land, but I think they do it because Melrose has a very healthy deer population for the most part. But on 2% public land, those deer get smart real fast when there's 8 guys going in on a dead end road, and then you pass all of them on the way in. But my wife harvested a spike buck last year in the Melrose unit. Nice, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 7-inch spikes maybe. Nice buck, and she was happy to do it right after. I believe it was after she harvested her first mule deer. So it's a good opportunity. You see some deer. I think it's good for youth. Meat in the freezer. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to harvest a deer. I'm very selective, and if I don't kill one, totally fine. But the 100 series hunts, take those a little more serious. I do try to fill those tags. I haven't filled a deer tag a couple years, 2-3 years, but I counted 2 years ago. I think I passed up 13 bucks with a rifle, and it was just like I would pull up and just be like, not today, or not this one, and I'm not a trophy hunter by any means. I'm not out there only shooting 4 and 5 points. It just didn't feel right, or trying to get somebody else a deer, or whatever the case was. But every time you don't draw one of these tags, you get what they call a preference point, and you take that into the next year. So, for example, 2 preference points usually gets me the Melrose tag for spike doe. 2 points would, I think, guarantee me the Eastern Oregon tag I like to go to. It's nothing special. It's just a place that I'm familiar with and comfortable, and when the deer run, I know where they're going.
Yeah. Well, grew up in that area.
Yeah, I mean, we know. Yeah. Same camp, same everything. So
yeah. So let's move into let's just do bear, because I love the bear. I may be a little bit more advantaged.
So
in
next
this
year, Southern Oregon is, I think, going to control
They're
bear
thinking
hunts?
about it. I'm personally not a fan of that, because their thought is that it's not going to be, you just have to put in for it.
Sure.
You just have to give us the money to get the tag, the draw.
So an $8 guarantee draw?
Basically is what they're saying, but I disagree with that, because every year they sell out quicker and quicker and quicker, which means that there's more demand than there is tags.
You'd almost have to go in there now. You can actually start buying them, I think, in December.
Yep, that's when I do mine.
Yeah, so I go in and buy early.
Yep.
If you wait till first part of February for a Southwest Oregon bear tag, they're probably close to gone, if not gone.
Right.
Usually by February 15th, they're all gone. Yes. But I'll go in December when I buy a sports pack and just pick up a spring bear tag with it.
And I think that's what a lot of guys are doing nowadays. Yeah.
It's like Merry Christmas, sports pack, spring bear.
Exactly. And I just started doing mine in December, because I'm never going to get bought out for, there's not going to be enough early birds to beat me to
No, not in
those
December.
tags.
I've shot enough bears that I just don't care.
Right. I would like to see them either go to a quota, because you have to check in literally every single bear. Every bear has to be checked in. And let's hit those management objectives. The woods are going to be a little bit more full. And granted, you are going to shoot a lot more younger bears. There's going to be guys out there that don't know what they're doing. I shot a little one last year, and I'm not into shooting little bears. It was one of my first actually spring bear hunts, and I knew he was about 150 pounds. When I got up to him, he was smaller than that.
Sure, yeah, it happens at like almost every first bear. My first one I thought was a giant, and it was like a 2.5-year-old, and like 120 pounds.
Right. I mean, I'd been beating the brush for 2 weeks straight, and I'm like, I'm not good enough at bear hunting yet to pass up this bear. So I shot it, and gosh, he was delicious. Ate it.
Sure.
But you're going to get a lot of guys that don't like that, and that maybe could be pushing the reason why they're going to the draw. That's just a theory from some of the guys that I've seen.
How many tags do they give out on that? Like 3,000?
4,400.
Yeah, so you got 4,400 rifles.
Right.
running around in the spring chasing these bears.
Well, me with a bow.
And that's why there's a bear still alive out there somewhere.
That's why there's tons of bears, in my area.
So I don't know if it would be a controlled hunt where they still do 4,400 and you just pay. So now it's like, okay, now you're just going to collect $8 to then give me my tag.
That's what you're doing.
I don't know if
I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with that. What I would agree with, again, I love the draw process. I love it. Once it's over hunting season, I'm like, dang, like, yeah, I have my tags to look for, but I get jacked for the draw. If they would reduce the number of tags or truly make it a draw, I'd be excited for it. But
for the bear tag,
yeah, just honestly, just to find out if I got it or not. Like I just like the excitement of it, but like not for like the management of animals or the betterment of the deer or anything like that. I'm like, every tag holder that has a bear tag needs to kill a bear if they see one. Mm-hmm. Just straight up shoot every bear you see for the amount of tags you have. And I mean, it would kind of be a bum deal if they did limit the number for the spring. But I'm also a fan of like I would rather hunt less often and have a more quality hunt than hunt every year and maybe or maybe not get something.
Right.
I mean, that's where I'm at now. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see the changes they make. It's kind of, they did make a little bit of adjustment to the muzzleloader proposals too. So
they did. We'll get into that here in a second. Yeah. But so you got spring bear tag for bears, which is an over-the-counter limited entry. Okay. Limited purchase, correct?
Yeah, 44. I think
4,400 tags. And then from there you have your general fall bear. Black bear season, and then you have a Southwest additional, which is fall black bear season for Southwest Oregon.
Yeah, a fairly like handful of units that the bear populations are fairly dense, and you can go out and shoot a second one or a third one for the year.
Exactly. So you are technically allowed 3 bears in 1 year.
Yeah.
And you cannot get a preference point if you buy the limited entry or limited purchase springs.
You can't go the West Blues or any of the Snake River, none of those drainages. You lose your points.
You're never going to get that. So that's it for bear, and we have a really healthy bear population. Again, we're not going to get into why.
No, I think when I was bear hunting a lot, like a lot, the most I saw in a fall I think was 31 different bears.
That's a good year.
That's a great year. But that was almost every morning, evening out, and I don't know how many we shot in amongst our group, but I don't go out that often anymore, and I don't see that many bears anymore, but that's just because I'm not hunting where I normally see the bears. So
it seemed like this year the guys that haven't really got into it and haven't been into bear hunting as much were the ones seeing the bears, and then the ones that I talked to a lot of guys that are just absolutely bear hunters, man, and they had off years, and I had an off year. Not saying that I'm an absolute bear killer, but I saw 26 last year, which I was pretty stoked about. That was a good year.
Yeah.
And I saw 6 this year so far.
Yeah, I have a few roads and units that if I wanted to go kill a bear, I'd go in. I'm not in shape enough to go do that anymore, but there's some spots that consistently hold bears. You shoot one and it seems like another one replaces it. Yeah. I mean, they're just all over.
Well, we shot 4 out of one little pocket last year, and granted, we haven't seen one in there this year. I kind of wonder why. Right. They're just, kind of probably overhunted that spot a little bit. But
take 1 or 2, maybe not 4.
Yeah. So that's really it for bear. You have a really good selection of draw units if you want to go, and I call that more hunting the country than you are hunting the bear, because there's big bears on both sides. There's color phase on both sides, and there's higher densities of color phase bears in certain areas. I'm not going to spill all that, but do your homework, figure out what you're looking for. You're looking for a color phase bear. Do you want to hunt, over in some beautiful area over in Eastern Oregon, or do you want to just guarantee yourself a tag? Go into the store in December and get a tag, and then figure out where those color phases are.
Worst case scenario, it's a great opportunity and excuse to be out and check on the deer herd, kind of evaluate what's there, check on the horn growth. They're starting to show some nubs at that time of year, so you can actually start seeing them. They'll have some different patterns, obviously, in October, but at least you can build some confidence and be like, okay, if I don't draw, I can general season rifle, and I know that there's $7 in this draw. So.
Right. That's how I got my my nice 4-point blacktail last year, was bear hunting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was straight up. I patterned them just because I was in that unit so often. I kept seeing a bear. I kept passing up, and I was waiting for a bigger one to show up. No, one never did. And then opening day, I was like, I wonder if that buck's there.
Well, that blacktail we call it big buck unit. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I was bear hunting and we found a bear in there, which we shot, but we go in there at 8:30 in the morning. Every morning, here comes this, probably one of the biggest blacktail bucks I've ever seen.
I talked about him on the last episode.
It's just like...
We're talking about a 22, 23-inch 4-point.
He's bigger than that, I think, because I have video of him.
Me too.
And he dwarfs 4 bucks. He makes the bucks look like fawns. I mean,
he does.
He's just huge. And
stud.
You find those while you're bear hunting.
Valley.
Yeah, Valley. Yeah, it is within
coastal valley.
20 minutes of Roseburg. And
oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that.
North, south, east, or west, but
Roseburg in California. If there is one.
It's close. I'm sure he's dead now.
Oh yeah, that deer would be like 15 years old.
He's probably a big fork and horn now.
He's probably cougar poop.
But there was a cougar in that unit. I did see him one time. But
so that's it for bears. Let's go over elk.
Yeah, elk is probably my favorite muzzleloader hunt. There's a cow and bull, but unlike deer, a cow hunt counts as your one hunt for the year. It's a 200 series. Similar concept, points, preference points each year. You don't draw, you get another point, and it goes back into the pool for the next year drawing. Mm-hmm. You've got rifle, muzzleloader, and that thing they call archery. Mm-hmm. And with that, you have cow tags and bull tags or hare tags. So the hunt that I like is a required bull tag. Mm-hmm. It used to be a cow or 3-pointer better, but now it's a bull, which has reduced the harvest rate. But I mean, if you're going to kill one, it's cool. It's a bull, but I should draw it this year. My wife should draw it this year. We're super excited, but it's no different than the 100 series or 600 series. It's apply, first, second, third, fourth choice. Highest point getters get the first 75% of tags. The next 25% go to a lottery draw. There's some really interesting hunts that are kind of eastern Oregon where they're longer duration, any elk, and they encompass like 5 to 6 units. So those might be worth a look at for some. But
there's certain units where, depending on the landowner, you could shoot a cow or a bull.
Yeah, so I have try to say this interesting. I have access to a ranch almost exclusively in the National Forest area, east of here. So,
like, oh, you live on the coast.
Yeah. So east of the ocean, we have access to this ranch, and so it's a visible antler. But as soon as they step onto this ranch, it's any elk, right? So bow, muzzleloader doesn't matter
because it's not national forest.
It's not national forest at this point.
It's private property.
Private property.
Okay.
And so, interestingly enough, I could never find the elk on the ranch, but I would run into them just off the ranch. Cows running around, and nice 5 or 6 point bull would not stop. Kept chasing him, just would never stop. Just all he cared about was his cows, and the cows kept busting me, and he kept chasing them. But so there's certain places where you can draw a hunt, for example, in the North National Forest, and it has to be a bull, but there might be pockets of private, and private doesn't have to be private property to like John Smith down the street owns it. It needs to be a private timber company is considered private. So I have Onyx maps on my phone, and I have that on all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm fishing, winter steelhead fishing, and I'm drifting down the main Umpqua, south, north, wherever I'm at. I have my maps. Like, I'm always like, oh, because I'm always thinking fishing and hunting. I'm like, who owns that? So I can pull it up. So you can hunt these National Forest Service hunts where it's visible bull, but you can shoot a cow on private timber. And there are these logged private 160 to 200 acre private pockets that a lot of people I think would overlook. So that's something to look at too. Like I said, I have that Onyx map, and I love it. I mean, the ownership information on it, the detail, the little waypoints I can mark. I mean, if I wanted to send, I won't, but if I wanted to send my camp location for mule deer to someone, I can send it straight to their phone and they can drive right to me.
Right.
I think it's fantastic.
It's a great app.
But yeah, so I use that all the time. And on that Forest Service hunt, there are pockets of private timberland where I hunt where if that elk's on National Forest Service and I can chase it over to that private timber, then we're in business. But,
right on.
Yeah.
And for elk, just like the deer and antelope, there's premium tags as well.
Yeah, premium tags. Again, I personally apply for Tioga. I'm not too worried about sharing any of that just because
it's a lottery tag.
It's a lottery tag. It's not a points thing. I don't have to worry about point creep, and I'm lucky enough that I may get it and may not. But and it's close to home, so that helps a lot. But yeah, so you have the premium tag. It's one bull, 2.5, 3 month season, and any weapon. Honestly, if I drew the tag, I'd probably be out there during archery season with a rifle, and I would be shooting.
You'd be getting the cops calling.
Yeah, yeah, they would come out and visit, and I'd have to show them my wonderful premium tag. But
yeah,
I just think that that's a great opportunity for someone. I have a bow, and I don't archery hunt. I just every once in a while shoot it for fun and recreation. But or even the late season, if you hunt in November or December, there's a good chance to kill a big bull out there that's just out grazing at 10 o'clock and not being chased by 1,000 people.
Right.
Or a fake bugle or whatever you're chasing. But if I drew it, any of these animals you draw on these premium hunts, I'd hunt the rut and just
pretty much
focus on that.
I will say that the tag that Jeff got, I would hunt that early season just because there's such a small area of public land that you could hunt, and it's just $2,000. It's easy, $2,000 just to walk onto somebody's range for access. You wouldn't be very popular, but you're out there legally, and I would be there early season with a rifle because that's your chances of killing a much better buck early season are way higher than actually in the rut.
Absolutely. They're out not wanting to hit their horns against.
Right.
They're just trying to shed their velvet or grow or.
Right. And that's just with that tag. I'm not saying in general. Most tags I would hunt out in the rut.
If I had a Tioga premium hunt, I would be out there with the bow hunters. But I'm a respectful enough hunter that if I ever saw anyone putting a hunt on a bull, I'd back off and let them have it. And when it doesn't work, sure, send a round down the chamber and end it. But I would never shoot over the top of a guy, which I could imagine some people doing
I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, so it's kind of
fun.
Interesting to have one rifle guy out there with a bunch of bow hunters, but I'm the kind of guy I don't care to harvest that much, so I would just, if it doesn't feel right and it's not right and I'm not the only one going after the bull, I'd leave it.
So let's go over, because there's a little bit more I wanted to cover, and I'm bringing us way back.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about how the numbers are chosen and stuff like that, can you go over how are these numbers chosen? Because I just picture a bunch of Oompa Loompas that are running this machine, and then they randomly come up with numbers and.
Yeah, so it's way more sophisticated than that. People just pick them out of like a bingo ball. So, so it's pretty elaborate. So June 4th this year, I believe it was, that up north they held the drawing. Volunteer, common folk, myself, you, can go and volunteer to draw these numbers.
Did you draw?
I did not.
Oh, so I can't blame you.
I would love to, actually. I think I'm going to try to get up there. So it's like for example, so it's a big, imagine a fishbowl.
Okay.
Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. All independently written on, for example, a ping pong ball.
Okay.
Those 1 through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, are put in there. Single file line. Starts with buck deer. First guy walks up, and he drew a 4. So now it's 4 billion. He puts the ball back in the fishbowl, walks to the end of the line. The next person comes up. That person happened to draw a 9.
Really?
Now puts it back, walks to the end of the line. And so this happens over and over
like 8
and
or
over.
9 times.
Yeah, so until you get to the billion.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for example, buck deer, 4,920,568,970. So they drew these, and then it's like, great, everyone, congratulations, we filled buck deer with all the numbers. Elk.
Okay.
First guy goes through, grabs a ball, looks, 9. Next guy, 6. And so the interesting thing about that is, so that's the random starting point. Anytime that it gets to a point where not everyone's going to get tags in that preference point group, that number that is generated here by these people randomly drawing, each tag application has that a number assigned to it.
Okay.
It's not your hunter angler ID. It's not your license ID. It's nothing that you will see on any piece of paper that is ever given to you.
Huh.
So you're not privy to it. I hear you can call ODFW and request it. I've thought about doing it and then just kind of predicting what I drew, trying.
So you could take those numbers, which they look like they're written on a huge, giant legal pad.
That's exactly, yeah. So it's a huge, huge, oversized legal pad.
Yeah, and they have them written down in red. Yep. And so if I want to go get which you can get your numbers from the ODFW.
I hear you can. I haven't done it.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of guys doing it.
Okay.
then how would you apply the number that they give you to that number on that big old screen yellow notepad thing?
So if I had sufficient points where I thought I would draw it,
Mm-hmm.
but my number is so far below the number here,
Mm-hmm.
I could probably assume that I may not get that tag.
Your chances just went down.
Went down dramatically.
Really?
But if the number's 7 billion, and there's so much variable, after that number, but if my number started with 7 billion, man, if there's 15 of us that have the same amount of points, and only 10 of us are going to get the tag, I'm probably going to get that tag.
Okay.
So you can kind of use those numbers as a gauge,
Mm-hmm.
as a reference. But, here, mountain goat, like this will be interesting. The first number for the billion was a 0.
Mm.
So now we're automatically to 231,124,041.
Really?
So whoever has less than a billion
Right.
has a shot, right, at one mountain goat tag or 2 mountain goat tag or how many ever tags are going to be given out in that unit.
Huh.
But no, it's ultra not complicated. It's single file line, draw a number, write it on the board, next.
I think it would be cool if you, as a hunter, wanted to go and draw your application number.
Yeah, I thought about doing it. I thought about wearing I don't know if they'd allow it, like a
I don't
chest
think they
GoPro
allow
or
it.
something like that. Like just to kind of get the experience. I know that ODFW posted a video of it last year, I believe it was.
I think they did.
Yeah, and so they kind of did here's the drawing. I don't know how private it has to be, but I mean if they allow the public to do it. But yeah, so it's pretty cool, and you can actually see the number of people that participated. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that are
10 people
signed off. Yeah,
in the state of Oregon. 10 people volunteered to pull numbers.
It looks like they have
tags.
spots on here for about 45 names, and there's only 10 signatures.
That seems insane to me.
Yeah.
So everybody would just like to not be educated and complain
Right.
about why they didn't draw a tag, like me.
I just want to send a thank you to whoever got my sheep tag for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. In
It's
15,
probably somebody on that list.
yeah, I would imagine it's probably the same ma and pa that have been doing it for how many ever years.
Yeah.
And people well, what if we went to automated, or what if we went to computer generated number? What if we did it? What if we? I kind of like it because it takes all that out of there. It provides some participation from the sportsmen if they want to participate. And it still provides a randomness. I don't know that it would delay the report. I mean, it is the 13th, and I want to know the results, but I don't know that it would delay the reporting. This was done June 4th. I don't know if a computer generator just making these numbers up would make the whole process faster. I don't think it would. I think there's a lot of complexity into the draw. For examples, our draw date is May 15. But I believe you have to June 1 to send any amendments or change requests and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, so now they're getting all of these change requests, and they're getting all these, I made a mistake. I put in for the wrong tag. I meant to do branch antler, and now I'm going to draw power spike, and I have 10 points. So they've got all those things. They have to calculate the non-resident stuff, and then they have to go through the landowner preference reports, and those people who want those tags, which they don't know yet. They know now, but so there's so much data and gathering, and then if there's any adjustments to tag numbers because of winter kill and surveys and spring surveys, they have to do all of this information. So it's kind of amazing that they can get it out. Granted, we've all been done since May 15th.
Right.
But then there's 2 weeks where people can change their mind, essentially. Then you have to wait till the 4th or 5th for the numbers to be drawn. And landowner preference. I mean, then there's so much stuff. So it's a lot of data. And I don't know how many hunts are in this book. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And you have to make sure that it's completely fair, that there's no errors. And like I said, that someone who has 12 points doesn't draw a spike tag, which happens every year because people don't pay attention.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a lot of data. And it's interesting to see people get really worked up and release the results. And I'm one of those impatient people, but it does state, they have till the 20th. I do have the last 12 years dates, and it never has made it that far. And
I'd be curious, can you tell us some of those dates?
Yeah, so let's go back into that. So
some folks are starting to figure this out, and they're starting to post that stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, so 2006.
I think it's going to come out tomorrow morning.
I hope so.
Which would be Thursday.
So Thursday seems to be a strong. So in the last 5 years, I don't want to go back to 2006. That's too long. But 17 was June 15th on a Thursday.
Okay.
2016 was June 16th on a Thursday.
Perfect.
2015, the magic June 10. Earliest release, 15, 20 years. So June 10. June 18, Wednesday. June 14 Friday. So, I mean, really this week where it's 13th today, 14th tomorrow is right in line because it was the 15th and the 16th, both on a Thursday the last 2 years. I mean, it's not like some conspiracy thing, but I mean, it makes sense that it could come out this week.
Right.
I know I'm hoping on it so I can plan the rest of my year. Because
I've never woken up and have had the tags show up.
No.
I've never got off work and had the tags show up. They've always been there in the morning.
It's like a 10 to 2, 10 to 3.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I think it was last year or year before, and I had never noticed it before. But now that I'm linked with so many different social groups and like web pages, like the second a tag comes out, my phone's going to blow up.
Right. That's
like,
what I've been
like
waiting for.
any other hunter, right? So anyone
right.
that applies, no one's special. Our phones are just going to go off the hook.
Right.
When you log on, you can actually see, or I did see, like successful, pending, successful, pending. So they were releasing them as soon as they had them available, I felt like.
Right.
It wasn't like, okay, now all the data's there, now push it.
All of them are there.
Yeah, it was like,
elk and deer came out first.
I got elk, but I'm waiting on deer.
Yeah.
Got deer. So it's pretty cool. Like, I think they genuinely do get them out as they get a successful run. But I'm really hoping for tomorrow. We do this thing at our house where we call it a tag reveal party. I have a private group of a few individuals that are invited to come over. And we'll have food, probably some tri-tips. Everyone has to wait. Even if they know the results came out, you got to wait. And then we just kind of we reveal. And that's the tough part.
Unless you're Jeff.
Yeah, unless you're him. And then you check ahead of time, and then you pretend to be excited when you knew you drew a premium tag. And but like, you know your tags are there. You want to check. I mean, I've been holding because I can't see my phone when I hold it far away. So I've been checking my wife's every 15 minutes. And I know it says pending, but I hold my phone far enough away that I wouldn't be able to see successful or unsuccessful because she'd be super pissed if I knew before her. But so we're excited. We make it an event, right? So it's an exciting time in our family. I'll have probably 10, 12 people over. We'll all do our results, and we'll find out what we did or did not get together and be either completely elated or deflated.
Right.
One of the two.
The only thing after this podcast is I'm going to be like, darn, I got screwed. And it's like, no, you didn't get screwed. You just weren't, at the right billionth number or whatever.
Right, and it's kind of like, it's so random, but it is.
It's completely random.
But it's kind of like once the numbers are chosen, like
it's almost predictable.
It's almost predictable. As long as you know the points, the prior points for the year and who drew what, which is all accessible on ODFW's page. There's a point detail summary report.
Don't they have a new page?
They have a new page. It'll take you over there to it. But I mean, I nerd out on data, so like I have binders at home of like the last 3 years of all the points. So I know but I know what points were taken out of the system. I know who drew what for the most part. Again, not names, but points wise. And yeah, I mean, I love having the data, and I always compare it. And I do get every year the 2018 Oregon Tag Guide. I submit a few photos to them every year, and they happen to use a couple of my wife's buck photos this year. And when we do that, we get a free book sent in the mail.
Oh, really?
So that's pretty cool. I mean, I'd buy it anyway, but it's a great book. And he essentially takes the time and goes through all the data that I also look at and just puts it in a wonderful book format with all the odds and percentages of private and public land. And I think it's an absolute valuable resource. I probably look at this book 1,000 times before I actually pull the trigger on my applications. But send a picture in and get a book for free. And I think they're like $14.95 at Buy-Mart every year when they come out or something like that. But
well, I know this year I used that tag book specifically for deer, and then every premium and lottery tag out there. Because I'm going to get the best bang for my buck as far as chances. I don't care what tag I get for a premium tag. I really don't. Just put me out there in the rut with a rifle. And,
Is that the one you put in for? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I put in for.
Yeah, so you can see your points there.
Yeah, just put me in. Just give me the tag.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where. Just put me in the rut with a rifle, and I'm going to have fun. And so, I use that tag to figure out what is my best odds when it comes to actually drawing one of these premium tags.
Right. I mean, you can blatantly go in there and see.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick out one that I would never apply for. Just Keno.
Okay.
Keno unit.
Yeah. Guys are going to hate you that hunt Keno now.
That's fine. Klamath Falls, you can have it. 223 people put in for it. So
you have a 1
out of 223 chance to shoot a good buck in the Keno unit during the rut with a rifle.
Right.
We go to OHA banquets. We go to these hunting banquets, these other events. You go to another one in Medford. I know I've won rifles with worse odds at these banquets, better than 1 out of 200. So
Right.
I mean, this is a premium hunt to go shoot a great buck. So, I mean, there's another one in here that I'm looking now. I'm like, man, only that many people applied. I should have picked that one. But, you know, then there's other ones where Metolius, that's a awesome hunt. It takes a lot of points, especially for archery or anything like that.
Huh. Never hunted it.
1,447 people decided that they wanted to try to hunt that this year for a premium hunt.
Have fun with that.
1 out of 1,447. So
I'm going to take the odds with the 1 in 100. Yeah. If they have one.
There's one in there that's less than that. Yeah.
Don't you dare say it.
Pretty sure I know what you applied for now.
Yes, you do.
Which is funny because we don't talk about what we both apply for before we apply. So it's like, even family, trust nobody.
What'd you put in for?
Yeah, what'd you put in for? Oh, you know.
Spike doe tag.
Point savers across the board.
Yeah. So, so is there anything else that you want to cover for the draw system? Anything that folks should know?
You know, you're never going to draw unless you put in. And if you don't want to draw, and I've thought about doing this year, especially with some job changes and some career things I've done. But,
right.
You know, point savers cannot. I'm not a fan of point savers, but they can have some value, right? Because you're going to have a point for the next year. My idea behind a point saver, I'm going to put in for one of those once in a lifetime, aka 23-year wait for a Heart Mountain tag. And if I draw it, I'll figure out how to go hunt it. I'm not going to put in for a point saver when I could potentially draw Heart Mountain antelope or juniper or whatever it is. So if you're going to try to do a point saver thing, just because you're trying to build your points up to go on some wonderful hunt, why not put in for a crazy awesome hunt? And if you draw it,
right,
holy cow.
Only thing that would make sense is if you can't.
Right. If you're having a surgery, you know, with my job change, I wasn't sure what my vacation time was off, so I contacted my new boss and just said, hey,
I quit.
I got not quite. I said, hey, it's June and I have 5 weeks I need to take off the rest of the year still. So I said, I need deer season, elk season, antelope season. So right now, if I were to draw all my tags, I would have a week off for each one of them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I don't draw them so I can use that time elsewhere. But yeah, if you had like a medical issue or a job change that just would not allow you, absolutely point saver. But if you have 1 or 2 points and you're like, oh, I don't want to go mule deer hunting for 3 years, put in for some crazy hard tag. And if you draw it, you drew it 10 years ahead of time. Good for you.
Right.
Now you're behind 1 year than what you were the year before. Big deal.
Right.
So that's all. I mean, point savers can be good, but I'm not a point saver guy. I'm a shoot for the moon and still don't draw something and hunt general season rifle or something like that.
Right. Well, so for folks that that are maybe coming to hunt to Oregon, out of state, maybe some of the things that I might add is while you're here, buy a bear tag.
And a cougar tag. Please,
because we are overrun especially with cougars, man.
Buy them. Yeah.
Holy smokes. And we are way, I remember when they used to say that objective was like 3,300.
Yeah.
We're over, I believe, last time I checked, it was well over 6,000.
Yeah, I went for my wife and I and 2-year-old son went for a drive just to go look for deer. Down south a little bit where you and I hunt a little bit for bear and deer.
Yeah.
You came down there last year. And I was in shorts last weekend, tennis shoes, shirt, not anything hunting. I'm looking for deer, and I put a 270 in the front seat. And my wife's like, what's that for? I'm like, cougar.
In case we see something cool.
Yeah. Someone want to take home. So I was like, cougar. If I'm in the woods, I have a rifle in the pickup.
Right.
And I have a cougar tag. And she has a cougar tag.
And those are good year-round.
January 1, December 31.
There's no season on them.
Yeah,
it's open season.
Open season.
With a tag.
And a hunting license.
And a hunting license.
On your person.
Yeah.
So, not trying to get anyone in trouble. But no, I was like, she's like, well, we're just going to go look for deer. I'm like, I guarantee you if I see a cougar, I'm going to kill it. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, she had no problem. And if she saw a cougar, she'd kill it. I mean, that's just the rule of the house. You see them, you shoot them. And, I mean, as many as there are, I've only even seen a few while I've been out. But I'm not going to be that one time where I don't have a rifle in my pickup and there's one standing in the road.
Right.
I'm not going to get caught like that.
Right. So, well, that pretty much covers it all. I mean, the goats are the same thing as the bighorn sheep, pretty much. I mean,
yeah, goats once in a lifetime. Man, I want a goat tag so bad.
Yeah, I know. Right, I know right where they are, and over where we elk hunt, we've actually seen the elk higher than the sheep.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, I mean, you could pretty much go up and throw a rock at them. I mean, they're not too bright.
I let my wife pick her tags this year a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and I'm super nervous about that because she comes in and she says, honey, I want to put in for McClellan Bighorn sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, where the hell's McClellan? And she's like, I don't know, but I just really have a good feeling about it. So she's got me all like paranoid. So I've been studying for like the last week and a half.
It's treacherous.
McClellan unit. I've read every story of every sheep shot on it. I'm already preparing like she's going to draw it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, well, why do you want to hunt McClellan? Well, that's my mom's maiden name. I'm like, you can't pick hunts based on like that's how she picked her like NCAA bracket by mascots. I'm like, you cannot pick. So I let her pick. I let her pick all of her premium hunts. She's our party leader in the deer because she's luckier than I am for the most part, minus the sheep thing.
So there's a little bit of superstition there.
A little bit, and people sometimes will apply it the same places over and over and over, the same point of sales. So I drew my Bighorn sheep tag when my wife applied for me at the Roseburg Fred Meyer.
That's where I applied for my tags this year.
Yeah, so I didn't draw anything that great last year, so I am trying this year to be a good boy and do my applications online. So I went through the ODFW website. I'm trying to avoid point of sales, and I did all of my own applications online. I entered my wife's while I was there, so hopefully I did them correctly, but I'm nervous about it, but I'm just trying something different, and I've got another buddy who's drawn some good tags, and he applies at the exact same place, and he prefers the same woman to take his application. So I don't know how far people go on the stereo or the conspiracy or whatever you want to call it, but like there might be a method to the madness. There may not be. I don't know if people have their favorite point of sale places that they like to apply, but I knew I drew mine, and when I drew my sheep tag, I had filled out my tag. I have a tag application guide thing here where I put in all my numbers and give it to my wife, and she goes and does it.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me and said, "Hey, your sheep hunt's not on here." And I said, "I know. I just want to save $8. Don't worry about it." Well, which one do you put in for? I'm like, I put in for Hart. Okay, so I had no idea I was even in the in the drawing for Hart until you actually called me and told me your results. I think it was. I was like, oh, cool. So
I didn't draw shit.
Yeah, I was like, well, shoot. I guess I better look. And then I'm scrolling down. I'm like, Hart Mountain, sheep. Look left, look right, look left, look right, look left. Back and forth like disbelief. And you would have thought I was like a pageant winner, Miss USA. I started crying and like fanning my face, and because I mean,
world peace.
I already told her, yeah, world peace. That's all I want. And I had told her, don't apply for it. And like she always does, she doesn't listen to me, and it worked out awesome. So I was super thankful that she was consistent, not listening, and did whatever she wanted. But I mean, it worked out. But yeah, Roseburg Fred Meyer is where she put in for me. So
I almost feel like this is like a small convenience store that sells like a winning lottery ticket.
Right. They get like a kickback on it. Yeah. I don't know how many.
Shout out to Fred Myers.
Fred Meyer, Roseburg, what's up? But I'd be curious to see what the customer service rep who it was that sold it to her. But I'd probably know him. But
probably a high school kid that's no longer there.
Probably a part-time seasonal intern.
Yeah.
Who has to pay union dues. But anyways, it's a joke. Yeah, so it was awesome, and I'm excited hopefully to find out tomorrow what I did or did not draw. And hopefully you'll be there.
Yeah, I got the full draw film tour tomorrow, so if we can put it off late enough, I'll definitely be there. And I'll cut out of the full draw film tour early just to get to the tag reveal party. Last year we actually live streamed it.
Yeah.
Semi-intelligently, we didn't give away what tags we put in for, but we let you know what we drew as far as species.
Which was tough because then you're trying to not show hunter-angler IDs. You're trying not to show personal information, and then you're trying to still have some involvement on, hey, we got a cool tag.
Yeah, the premium tag. We're like, hey, we drew our premium tag.
Yeah, this year,
that was cool.
Man, I just hope my wife draws that McClellan tag, because even if she yells, "I told you so," we're going on a sheep hunt. So I don't care. Cool. Like I've already studied it. Like I'm ready to go tomorrow. I just, that's what I did when I drew mine. It was just I absorbed all the information I could, and I'm kind of treating it like she's already drawn it, which will be deflating when she doesn't. But I just hope she does. So that'd be awesome.
Huh. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast today. You ruined my complaining come draw times, because now I actually semi know how they draw the tags and why I didn't draw. I'm such a negative Nancy. I've been burnt so many times. I don't think I've actually drawn a tag without actually having the points for it.
Right.
So,
so you had to wait a full value every single time.
Well, I put in with Dad for the antelope hunt, and he had 15
you piggybacked
or
his
16.
points.
So I ruined his odds and improved mine, but it worked out for both of us.
Sure. I think you used his cape on yours, and
looks
good.
Which is funny because it's actually like scarred up and everything. His was the uglier one of the two, but a 7 mag is a powerful gun.
Yes, it is.
So thanks for coming on to the show, man. And I want to have you back onto the podcast to talk about your epic. And I everybody tries to make their hunts sound epic and like it was just so amazing and it was so tough. I churned my feet in just how many days we hunt together? 2 or 3?
Just a couple. Yeah, that was Monday, Saturday, Sunday together, and then I think you guys left Monday.
Prematurely. We should.
Yeah.
Well, we won't get into that. We'll get into that when we do the podcast.
It's always fun when 3 of your packers leave to go on a general season bow archery elk hunt for a big red sheep hunt.
I had a lot of peer pressure.
We lost Brother of the Year that year.
Yeah, I can't take any awards for that one.
No.
And I still regret not being there, but
it was brutal.
Yeah, but man, I was running up and down those hills, filming everything.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And my feet were hamburger by the time I was done, just in two days worth of hunting up and down the hills there. It was, it made me get a nicer boot, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was so nice to have the hot springs there, though, but it was brutal. Yeah, but another
so
time.
We have to talk about that because it was a legit, not just once-in-a-lifetime hunt, but literally a once-in-a-lifetime experience with fighter jets. And that's just a little bit of a spoiler alert there, but there was literally fighter jets that came into play.
Taxpayer money at work.
Helping find big.
I have never been so happy to have my payroll deductions taken for taxes.
So we will come out with that one really soon. I might rush this one out and upload it tonight or tomorrow.
Cool.
Is a bi-weekly episode, just so everybody right at draw time can hear. After they figure out that they didn't draw what they wanted. Why did they didn't draw what they wanted?
I just hope as long as I got what I wanted, everyone can have what they want. That's
right. After I get what I want, then you can have what you want.
I'm happy for anyone else after I get what I want.
Right.
On the draws anyways. I've actually been trying to so I'm a superstition person with the draws to where I always try to do what's right for other people in general.
Right.
But I try to step it up. The week or 2 prior to the draw. So, for example, I took my kid fishing this weekend. Mm-hmm. I have a River Wolf drift boat. I love it. I went up to Hemlock.
Did you sacrifice him to the fish?
Well, what I did is we caught my limit, my wife's limit, and my kid's limit in quick order. We caught those fish so
Holy
fast.
Smokes. Okay.
So, we actually started trolling flatfish so we could let the fish go easier and not hook as many. We were trying not to hook fish, but still wanted to fish. Is a weird concept. So in order to try to, and I even told Becca before I did it, I said, hey, honey, tags come out in a week or 2. We got to do something.
Good juju.
Good juju. Young dad out of Portland, 5-6-year-old boy, Jasper is his name, fishing on the bank, not getting a bite. Pulled my anchors, went over, said, hey, do you want to go catch your limits real quick? Absolutely. The kid's super jacked. Go ahead, go out to the middle, fish, boom, boom, limit.
Really?
Hey, have a great day. He gave me his business card. I gave him mine. Exchanged emails, sent him a photo a couple days later of some of his kid catching fish.
That's not creepy.
No. Well, he asked for the photos. He's like, hey, man, you got some pictures? Yeah, cool. On my Canon Rebel, not my phone. So then I'm like, okay, man, tags come out in a week. I still need to do something more. So I get the boat over. I'm going to back my trailer in, and there's another kid. He's 5.
Oh.
And his name's Oscar. Dad, they're not catching any fish. I'm like, I'm already in. My wife's in the truck. Kid's in the truck. Pissed himself. So now he's naked and wearing a sweatshirt. And so I'm like, hey, honey, can I have 20 more minutes? Sure. Hey.
She actually said yes?
Yeah. Well, yeah. She was playing some fake casino gambling game on her phone, and the kid had peed, so he was wearing her sweatshirt. It was not good. But yeah, so then I'm like, all right. So I took these kids out, and the dad, and they got their limits, and I came back, and then I told Becca, I was like, I think we're going to get a good tag now. Mm-hmm. I've done enough good things this week. I've given kids opportunity to catch fish. Oscar's first fish, actually, so that was pretty cool to share.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it was awesome. He's 5. He's from Eugene. visiting his grandparents down in the Elkton, Yoncall area. Then they ran down to Hemlock, and he caught his first fish. So that was super cool. But, yeah, I'm super interested. Like, if you need anything, ask me, like, 2 weeks before the draw, and I'll probably do it for you. Like, super. You need money. You need to move. Like, I'm like
super Anchorman after it becomes unpopular and that guy's trying to get him to eat the dog poop.
Okay, I'll eat it.
I just don't have any faith anymore.
Yeah, I'm all about, man, I try to put so much good karma and juju out there like 2 weeks prior. Again, I always try to do the right thing, but like super nice 2 weeks before season.
Really?
Yeah, but let's see if it materializes. If not, I might stop doing that.
Maybe I need to start doing that because the closer I get, I'm like, screw, I'm not going to draw anything. I'm not even going to check.
I've probably checked 35 times today.
Oh, really? I haven't checked once. Literally, I don't have any faith. I have zero faith.
Well, so you have no stress to wait.
I have literally no stress because I know
you're going to get that buck tag.
After your little 10% or 25% pool, if there's a bunch of other guys that have the points, I won't draw it. But
I can probably tell you after we get off here. Not telling tag numbers, but find out what you're going to draw. But
yeah, and we might have to do that. And I put in for a lottery tag for elk pretty much because I don't have the points for that one.
Done. You'll get it.
I don't want to draw it. Well, technically I do, but I don't because I have plans for elk.
Well, if tags come out tomorrow, you need to do something super nice tonight for someone.
I just upload this episode so everybody can hear it early.
They're gonna be more confused. 10%, 25% point creep. What's this billion number we're talking about?
Unsubscribe.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So, any parting words of wisdom? So, yeah, you got good juju.
Good juju. Apply at the right places. Have your wife do it for you.
Catch kids fish.
Let her pick her own stuff. I think that's a big thing for Becca and I. She's from Portland, right? So we like trees and stuff, and so for her to have involvement and be able to pick her own hunts has gotten some excitement into her.
I could see that,
and I think that's pretty awesome. And so I have a gorgeous wife that loves to hunt and fish and put in for her own tag. So like life is good, and if you can get someone out there who hasn't done it before, help them apply, help them get into it. And
right.
I mean, I'm not going to help them get my tags, but like there's enough tags out there and enough land that we can all have room to hunt. And I'm not about the harvest. I love to help others, and especially within 2 weeks of a draw. But apply and help someone else apply, and good luck to everyone before the draw comes out, which I'm praying's tomorrow.
Right. Do you have most of the guys I have on here have platforms that they're trying to grow? Do you have anything social media, anything that you're wanting to get out there?
Not too terribly. I mean, so I have a little YouTube channel that's just my name, right? Gavin Weaver. All I'm putting up there.
You're about as creative as mine.
Yeah, it's like, here's my first and last name.
Mine's my first and last name.
And honestly, very few videos. Every time I go out with cameras, I go out with 2 or 3 cameras on my drift boat and have good intentions, and then I get caught up untangling my kids' fishing gear or doing something like that. So most of my stuff, though, is just family-based. Usually something with the wife or the kids. It's not high action. It's just a lot of family-based, like outdoor activities, usually fishing. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, not much. I'm just happy to be here and discuss the tag guide and application process and the draws, and wish everybody the best of luck, hopefully tomorrow.
Perfect. Well, if anybody needs to get a hold of you, they can email me at garrettweaverhunts@gmail.com, or you can get a hold of my Facebook, Instagram. I just got the Go Wild app today, which is really cool. It's like a Facebook/Instagram for hunters, and I've been playing around with it. It's only been out since last September, so it's still gaining traction. They're still working out bugs in it, but it's pretty sweet. I mean, you don't have to worry about stuff getting censored. You're only hanging out on there with hunters and outdoorsmen. So you're not going to offend folks.
Hopefully there's no trolls on there.
I haven't ran into any trolls, and my first post was really well received. It was like, hey, welcome to Go Wild. Like, everybody's like, welcome. They're like really excited to grow it because it's such a small community.
There's a group. I'm one of a bunch of people that are members of it, but it's called iFish.
Yeah.
So
yes,
iFish.net, right? So
are you still on there?
I'm still on there.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm still on there. I find I don't post a lot, but I read a lot of content. 90% of the stuff on there right now is just complaining about the tags not being out yet.
Right.
Like, there's like 283 posts effectively like an hour ago, and 280 of them are like, why aren't they out yet? Mm-hmm. But if you draw one of these hunts, if you draw Heart Mountain, my stories on there. If you draw, Warner or Beulah or West Beatty's, or like, you can go into their search engine and type in there, and it'll bring up past articles. Mm-hmm. So if you do draw a great tag, there are resources out there too to study. And I never knew about iFish until I drew my sheep tag, and now, like I said, I don't post a bunch. Kind of just always in the back, just reading. But I've posted a few things on there. But
what's your username?
I was just gonna say, I don't know if
Don't worry, I'll ask.
So Black Powder 87.
Okay.
So that's me. If you see anything on there, that's I wasn't going to say what it was, but that's who I am, and that's me, and that's what I'm posting. But again, limited posting for me. I do a lot of content absorption, just read and read and read. But you draw one of these tags, check it out.
Guys are really helpful when it comes to tags that are like, you know what, it's so rare, screw it. I'm
once in a lifetime. It's a brotherhood. So the Heart Mountain guys, Dave Smith from DSD Decoys up in Portland, he makes DSD decoys. He drew the tag before me.
Huh.
Never met. I still need to buy him a beer. But
is he local? No, he's
Portland.
From Portland.
Yeah, I still need to buy him a beer when I get up there. Huh. But awesome guy, shared a ton of information. I was on my sheep hunt, and when I would get service at the top, I would talk to him, or when I was scouting, and I was super deflated. I'm like, man, Dave, I'm not finding the sheep. He's like, stick after it. They'll be there. Stay. Just super. So on the drive back, I called 5 people maybe to let him know I got my sheep, and he was probably the first guy I called.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, I talked to him all summer. And
a guy you never met.
I still have never met him.
Huh.
I consider him a friend.
What's his name?
Dave.
Shout out to Dave.
DSD Decoys.
And not the Devil Dog Dave.
No. Actually, speaking of Devil Dog, he did help my wife kill that bear a couple years ago when he was a
He
watchman.
did. Shout out to Devil Dog.
We went out. He called us every time that bear show up.
I would have to get him on the podcast, but it would literally be, hey, bleep, beep, beep, bleep, bleep. Hey, yeah, my name's bleep, bleep.
Yeah, it would sound like someone's pushing a doorbell every 3 seconds.
Well, I'll have to get him on somebody else's podcast. But all right, guys. Well, let's make that a wrap, man. So thanks for coming on the show, and I will get you back on here very soon.
Sure.
To share your and I don't use that word lightly, a freaking awesome bighorn sheep hunt.
It's pretty amazing. They're all once in a lifetime, but I'm not saying mine's better, but it's better. It's not the worst.
It's epic. It is one of the coolest hunting stories I've ever heard.
Anytime F-15s help you bring down your sheep, it's a good thing.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast, and we'll always see you on the next one. Bye. Well, that is this week's episode of the podcast. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate everybody that has made this show a success so far. We just hit over, I think, 2,400 listens, and that's just in a few episodes. So pretty cool, pretty good. Let's keep that momentum going. I'm going to keep uploading like I have been, and I really look forward to producing content that you guys enjoy, that you get something out of, that you can use to equip yourself for your next hunt or your next hunting season. So as always, if you can, leave me a 5-star review. Enter yourself in that drawing. You have to leave a comment, and this is whether you've left a review already, whether you've already left me a comment, and if you haven't one, just keep entering. Just keep leaving those comments, keep leaving those 5-star reviews, and just keep upping your odds at getting chosen, because I have some really cool reviews, really cool giveaways coming up soon, and I want to make sure that everybody that does leave a 5-star review, make sure you leave a comment, because I want everybody to have that opportunity at winning some of these cool things that are coming up. So, as always, guys, I appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.